Most people open an AI terminal assistant and use it like a normal chatbot. Ask a question, wait for an answer, ask another question, and repeat. That works, but it misses the part of Hermes Agent that makes it feel different. Hermes has a command surface around the model. Those commands let you give the agent a standing objective, steer it while it is working, send independent jobs into the background, connect it to a real browser, roll back file changes, and manage context when a session gets long. In this tutorial, I'm not going to explain those commands with slides. I'm going to show the official Hermes documentation first, then run the command inside a real Windows PowerShell session using the original Hermes TUI. I'm also using the educational agent profile so the demo stays isolated and safe. The session is launched with checkpoints enabled because later we'll look at rollback. The important framing is this. Hermes is not only a prompt box. When you learn these commands, you stop treating the agent like a one-message responder and start treating it like an operator that you can supervise. While the TUI comes up, notice the setup choices. I am starting from a normal PowerShell window, moving into the disposable demo folder, and launching Hermes with checkpoints. That matters because the later rollback section only makes sense if checkpoints are enabled from the beginning. The first workflow is /goal. This is the command that changes the feel of Hermes the most. In the docs, goals are described as persistent objectives. The practical meaning is simple. Instead of repeatedly saying, continue, you give Hermes a finish line. That finish line can include what to build, how to verify it, what constraints to respect, and when to stop. This is extremely useful for work where the next action depends on the previous result. For example, if the agent creates a file, then runs it, then sees an error, then edits the file, then runs it again, a normal single prompt often turns into a chain of manual follow-ups. A goal turns that chain into a managed loop. This is why /goal is underrated. It is not just a bigger prompt. It changes the control pattern from answer my message to work toward this outcome. Now I'm switching from the docs into the TUI. The goal is intentionally small. Create a word counter in this demo folder. Run it against the sample input file, show the output, and stop. Small examples are useful because you can see the entire workflow without hiding behind a huge project. Notice the completion condition. I'm not asking Hermes to merely describe a word counter. I'm asking it to make the file, run the script, and show the result. That means the visible output matters. If it writes code but never runs it, the goal is incomplete. If it runs the script and the command fails, the goal is incomplete. This is the mental model you want for agent work. Define what finished looks like. After the run, /goal status gives a quick view of the active goal. Pause and resume give control over the loop, and clear removes the standing objective when you are done. The key lesson is that /goal is best for outcomes. If you know the end state, give Hermes the end state. While Hermes works through the goal, watch the shape of the session. The important thing is not only that a file appears at the end. The important thing is that the agent has to connect the request to the local folder, inspect the available sample input, choose a simple implementation, run the script, and then report what happened. That is the difference between asking for code and asking for a verified outcome. In a real project, this same pattern might be writing a test, running the test suite, fixing the failure, and stopping only when the verification command passes. The point is to give Hermes enough room to act, but still give it a clear definition of done. Also, notice what is not being hidden. The command is visible, the run takes time, and the result has to show up in the same session. That is the part many agent demos skip. A useful agent workflow is not just a generated answer. It is the visible chain from instruction to action to verification. When that chain is on screen, the viewer can trust what happened. The second workflow is about steering. In the /command reference, 3 commands work together: /busy, /steer, and /queue. Busy mode decides what should happen when you type, while Hermes is already working. Steer lets you add guidance to the current run. Queue lets you add the next instruction without interrupting the work that is happening right now. This is valuable because the most important thing in an agent session is often momentum. If the agent is already reading files or running a check, you may realize that it is going in the right general direction but needs a different emphasis. You do not always want to cancel the run and restart from scratch. Steering gives you a lighter touch. Think of it like pair programming. You are not taking the keyboard away from the agent. You are saying, keep going but focus on this. In the TUI, I first check the current busy behavior. Then, I set busy mode to steer. After that, I ask Hermes to analyze the files in this demo folder and explain what each file does in beginner-friendly terms. While the agent is working, I send a steer message. Keep it concrete, name the actual files, and avoid theory. That is exactly the kind of mid-run correction that makes this workflow useful. The agent does not need a brand new conversation. It needs a directional nudge. Then I cue a follow-up. After the explanation, give me one improvement idea for the word counter. This is the distinction I want you to remember. Steer is for the run that is already happening. Cue is for the next thing. Busy mode defines what plain input does when the agent is occupied. Once you get used to this, Hermes feels less like request-response chat and more like a command center. You watch the run, steer when needed, and cue the next useful action. This is the moment where steering becomes practical. I do not need to restart the whole task just because I want a narrower explanation. The run is already moving, so the steer message changes the emphasis. Name the real files, stay concrete, and avoid theory. Then the queued message becomes the next step after the current run finishes. In day-to-day work, this is useful when the agent is reviewing a codebase, reading logs, or investigating a bug. You can keep the work alive, correct the direction, and line up the next action without turning the session into a pile of disconnected prompts. The subtle point is that steering and queuing reduce friction. You can correct the live run, and you can prepare the follow-up without losing the current context. That matters when the work is exploratory. The agent might be mostly right, but not precise enough. Instead of stopping everything, you add the missing constraint and let the session keep moving. The third workflow is background work. /background starts a separate background session. /agents gives you a place to inspect those background agents and see what is running. This is one of the commands that makes Hermes feel like an operating environment instead of a single chat stream. Some tasks do not need to block your main session. A second pass review, a documentation check, a research task, or a quick code quality pass can run independently while you keep working. The important part is not that every task belongs in the background. It is that independent work should not freeze your foreground. If the task can be separated cleanly, background it. Here I send a small review task into the background. I'm asking for confusing names and 3 suggestions. The example is simple, but the pattern scales to real work. You could use this for a security review, a docs review, a bug investigation, or a test failure analysis while you continue with the main thread. Then I open /agents. This view gives you a way to check on those background jobs. The exact interface may evolve over time, but the workflow is the same. Start independent work, keep the main TUI usable, and come back when the background agent has something useful. This is especially useful in long sessions because it keeps your main context focused. You do not have to paste every side investigation into the foreground conversation. Hermes can manage that work as a separate agent run. For background agents, the key habit is choosing tasks that are independent. A background job is a great place for a review, a second opinion, a documentation pass, or a quick investigation that does not need to block your main flow. The main session stays focused, and the side work can report back when it is ready. That is why this command matters in longer workflows. It gives you parallelism without forcing every thread of work into the same conversation. The fourth workflow is /details. This one sounds cosmetic, but it is very useful for teaching, debugging, and screen recording. The TUI can show tool activity, internal sections, sub-agent information, and other details in different levels of visibility. When you are learning Hermes, expanded details help you understand what the agent is actually doing. When you are recording a tutorial or trying to read the final answer, too much detail can become noise. That is why controlling the view matters. A good terminal AI workflow is not only about what the agent can do, it is also about how readable the session is while the agent is doing it. Now, I'm changing details modes directly in the TUI. Expanded mode is useful when I want to expose what is happening. Collapsing the tools section makes the screen cleaner. Hiding activity reduces noise when the viewer should focus on the command output rather than the machinery around it. For normal work, this is a preference. For teaching, it is a production tool. You can make the TUI transparent when explaining how Hermes operates, and then make it cleaner when the result needs to be readable. This is a small command, but it makes a big difference in long sessions because readability is part of control. Details mode is also a readability tool. When you are debugging, expanded detail can help you understand which tools are running and what the agent is doing. When you are teaching or reviewing the final answer, collapsing detail can make the terminal easier to read. So, this is not just a visual preference, it is a way to control how much of the machinery is visible at each moment. Next is browser connection. The Hermes browser automation docs explain that Hermes can connect to a local Chromium family browser through the Chrome DevTools protocol. Depending on your setup, that can mean Chrome, Brave, Chromium, or Edge. This is powerful because the browser can be real. It can be a page you are already using, a local app running on localhost, or a site where your session already exists. Instead of treating browser automation as a hidden environment, Hermes can work with a visible browser when the backend is available. There is an important caveat. Browser connection is environment dependent. If the debug port or browser backend is not configured, the honest result is a status message or an error. That is still useful, because it teaches the real requirement instead of pretending browser control is magic. In the TUI, the right habit is to check status first. Before you ask Hermes to control a browser, ask what it is currently connected to. Then I run /browser connect. If the environment is ready, Hermes can launch or attach to a browser. If it is not ready, the TUI should show the real failure. Either result is useful because it shows the actual boundary between the agent and the browser. After that, I check status again and disconnect. The workflow is status, connect, verify, then disconnect when you are done. That habit prevents a lot of confusion when you move between local apps, docs, pages, and authenticated browser sessions. For browser workflows, the status command is the habit that prevents confusion. Before expecting Hermes to act through the browser, check whether anything is connected. Then connect, verify again, and disconnect when you are done. If the browser backend is unavailable, the visible error is still useful because it tells you exactly what needs to be configured instead of hiding that dependency. Now let's talk about safety. The checkpoints and rollback docs are important because Hermes can edit files. File editing agents are powerful, but power without an undo path is risky. When you launch Hermes Chat with checkpoints enabled, Hermes can create file system snapshots around changes. /rollback lets you list checkpoints, inspect diffs, and restore if necessary. This is the command that makes the rest of the workflow safer. If you are going to let an agent touch a project, you need a way to see what changed and undo it. Rollback is that safety net. Because this session was launched with checkpoints enabled, I can use /rollback in the demo workspace. First, I list available checkpoints. Then I ask for a diff. The diff is the teaching moment. Before restoring anything, you want to see what would change. That makes rollback understandable instead of scary. If the checkpoint is the one you want, /rollback with the checkpoint number is the command that restores it. The rule is simple. Give the agent freedom, but keep an escape hatch. The more capable the agent is, the more important the safety controls become. Rollback is one of those commands you want to understand before you need it. The safest habit is to list the checkpoints, inspect the diff, and only then restore. That keeps the action deliberate. You are not blindly undoing work. You are choosing a known checkpoint after seeing what changed. This makes agent file editing much easier to trust. The final workflow is context management. In long agent sessions, context becomes part of the work. Tool output, logs, decisions, and intermediate attempts all accumulate. If you never manage that context, the session can become harder to steer. /usage shows you how much context you are using. /compress here summarizes older conversation history while keeping the most recent exchanges verbatim. That gives you a practical way to keep the session moving without throwing away the important state. This is one of the most practical forms of context engineering, deciding what should stay detailed and what can become a summary. Inside the TUI, I check usage first. Then I run /compress here with the number 2. That means compress the older part of the conversation, but keep the last 2 exchanges exactly as they were. After compression, I check usage again. The exact numbers will depend on the session, but the habit is the important part. Long agent workflows should not rely on luck. You should know when the context is getting heavy, and you should clean it up deliberately. If you remember only 3 commands from this video, remember these: /goal for outcomes, /steer for control while Hermes is already working, and /rollback for safety. Those 3 commands alone change Hermes from a terminal chatbot into something much closer to an operator. And when you add background agents, browser connection, details controls, and context compression, you get a workflow that can actually scale to real projects. Give Hermes the objective, watch it work, steer it when needed, delegate side tasks, connect real tools, and keep control of the workspace. Context management is not glamorous, but it is one of the skills that makes long agent sessions work. Usage tells you when the session is getting heavy. Compression lets you keep the recent conversation detailed while summarizing the older history. The result is a session that still remembers the important decisions without carrying every intermediate log line forever. That is the habit to build. Keep the working context useful, not just large.